Given how popular Ilia's become, how big do you think that fight could be between you two?
I mean, if I had any bit of a personality, it'd be huge. But I just can't. I can't lie. I can't exaggerate. You know, it's what I do. It's who I am. It's who my parents taught me to be. But I mean, there's no doubt there'll be the best, one of the best fights that they could definitely put on. It'll be for an undisputed belt, and I think they want to have 6 or 7, whatever. They want to have as many as possible. So if he's not back by then, they will strip him, and I will be undisputed and then I'll fight for the belt on there.
You know that I'm going to take his lads out in the first round. It's the pressure fight. Oh, right hand, he hurt him.
I mean, Ilia's face is just destroyed.
No. We finished the fight.
That's the end of the fight, Mr. President.
And that'll do it. That's it.
Do what I did in the sport.
So what do you think it will take Ilia to get back to fighting again after such a loss?
Ilia's he's gonna be in a good position. He has faith. He has a strong team. And that's a lot of what it takes. He has a work ethic. I think he's honest with himself. Ilia and I, we share the same agent, and we were talking about him earlier today, and what I heard was that he's humble, that he is honest. He realized that he just didn't perform well, and I think that's the number one step of getting back into the ring in a healthy way. It's the guys that make excuses. That's when it's hard to come back and win that rematch. Guys who just say, you know what, I could have did better, I could have done more. Honesty with yourself is the key to MMA. Knowing exactly who you are, what you've done, what you haven't done. You can't lie once you get in that cage. What's real will come.
Just weeks ago, many fans believed Ilia Topuria's career had been changed forever. After Justin Gaethje's brutal beating left the undefeated champion hospitalized with broken orbital bones and temporary blindness, the MMA world assumed one thing: Topuria wouldn't return anytime soon. But now, everything has changed. New updates from inside his camp reveal a shocking comeback timeline that nobody expected. Even more surprising, Topuria has already picked the opponents he wants next, while Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett are preparing for wars of their own. Is this the beginning of the greatest revenge story in UFC history? Or is Topuria rushing back toward another devastating nightmare? Stay until the end, because the latest twist changes everything.
Damage that was accumulated. When you're in there, you're not really focusing on their face and how much damage has actually accumulated. But, towards the end, I remember seeing how swelled up his eyes were. And yeah, that big knee definitely took the spirit, that he had left. He's so skilled. It's just he's going to have a very big challenge, mentally and emotionally when it comes to, coming back and performing. But his skill level is second to none when it comes to his ability to, pick his shots. And, he's still one of the best. He just needs to understand that this is a crazy game. Anything can happen. And you got to go in there with a mentality like that.
Justin Gaethje didn't celebrate this victory by calling Ilia Topuria finished. Instead, he admitted something even more shocking. According to him, Topuria's skills haven't disappeared at all. The real fight will be inside his own mind. And that's what makes this story so dangerous. Because history has shown that many champions recover physically, but never mentally. However, what happened next proves this comeback story is about to take an unexpected twist.
Right now, I feel like I'm going to fight again. I mean, that's what I feel inside my body, but, I haven't made a choice. Yeah, I'm very interested to see what happens in that fight. Max definitely knocked me out, but I feel like I got that win back with the Ilia Topuria fight. I would love, as I've stated hundreds of times publicly, I would love to punch Conor McGregor in the face. So, yeah, I'm excited about that fight. I'm excited to be there and watch it.
Yeah, bro, he's one of the only guys that you haven't had a chance to punch in the face.
Exactly. I mean, there's no doubt he's one of the biggest superstar in the sport, and so fighting a guy like that obviously does great things for me financially and for my legendary status and stuff like that.
Just when fans expected Gaethje to focus on Ilia Topuria, he completely changed the conversation. Instead of talking about a rematch, he revealed the one opponent he's been chasing for years: Conor McGregor. But here's the shocking part. While Gaethje is dreaming about the biggest payday of his career, Topuria's camp is already making plans that could put both men on a collision course once again. And that's where this story becomes even more explosive.
One of the biggest fights in the lightweight division. I am, of course, talking about Paddy Pimblett taking on Ilia Topuria. These two have been going back and forth at each other for a long time. They absolutely hate one another. They've been going back and forth, talking shit, throwing bottles of water at one another, okay? Calling each other names. They even stood in the middle of a UFC octagon after Ilia Topuria knocked out Charles Oliveira. Paddy Pimblett got in the cage. They squared up.
This rivalry was never just about trash talk. It was built on pure hatred. Now, the entire MMA world wants to see them finally settle it inside the octagon. But before that could happen, one shocking night changed everything and handed Paddy Pimblett the biggest opportunity of his career.
To quit, Ilia, you little... And this is what I'd do to you. I'd make you quit. Oh! Nice right hand by Justin. Oh! Gaethje always goes for the kill. I know he could leave himself a bit open, being a bit overzealous and trying to finish him, but it doesn't look to me like Topuria's got that power still, lad. And you can see, never faced any adversity in your life, lad, and now you're facing it and you're quitting like a little. I went 5 with him, lad, and kept biting down on me gummy and swinging till the last bell. Really is on mount, yeah. Let's see if we can do anything with it. This could steal in the round, definitely, lad, but it looks like Gaethje's trying to go.
As Ilia Topuria struggled through the toughest moment of his career, Paddy Pimblett showed absolutely no sympathy. Instead of respecting a fallen champion, he doubled down with brutal words that instantly ignited the rivalry all over again. But what Paddy said next would push the trash talk to an entirely different level.
Oh my God, you quit like a little... My face was worse than yours, you little... Get that Twitter up now, lad. I'm quote tweeting that tweet he sent to me. Justin Gaethje. Well in, lad. Undisputed champion, you deserve it after your career. But now I want that rematch. I am going to finish BSD and I want that rematch with Justin Gaethje for the undisputed title. I told you, didn't I? It was fate. Justin Gaethje, man, that's off to you. You deserve it for the fucking heavy career you've had. You absolutely deserve it, lad. Everyone gave me shit for getting beat by him. What now? What now, lad? Thought he was finished, thought he was 38, thought he was over the hill, and then he just beat you. Greatest fighter of all time, Ilia Topuria.
Paddy wasn't finished. After mocking Topuria's defeat, he made one thing crystal clear. His eyes are now locked on UFC gold. But here's the twist. While Paddy is demanding another shot at Justin Gaethje, millions of fans believe there's only one fight the UFC simply can't ignore. And if both men keep winning, this bitter rivalry could finally explode inside the octagon.
I don't like some of the talk coming out the backside. I've heard Ilia quit. That really bothers me. Just because when a story's told, it's got to be told accurately. That was one of the gutsiest, most impressive displays of heart I've ever seen. That was the opposite of quit. Whatever that was, whatever Ilia participation in that fight was, is the opposite. Now, guys.
Everyone was calling Ilia Topuria a quitter. But then Chael Sonnen stepped in and completely flipped the narrative. According to him, fans had misunderstood what really happened inside that cage.
You have any idea what Ilia went through in the last year? He went through a heartbreak. That creates a depression. He then had to move. He then has to put a camp together. He then has to go on the media tour because he's the face, right? Ilia is a huge star. I mean, I'm just sharing with you, like, there wasn't a way that we were going to see championship rounds.
What happened inside the octagon was only part of the story. Behind the scenes, Ilia Topuria had been carrying pressure that almost nobody knew about. Personal setbacks, endless responsibilities, and the weight of being the face of the division had already taken their toll. Then came the fight that pushed everything to the breaking point. But the physical damage was even worse than fans realized.
I think Topuria's nose was broken in round 2, I think. It was pretty early on. And
hard to say.
Yeah.
You know, but Justin did clip him with a bunch of those uppercuts. So yeah. Justin does this thing where he like collar ties you and then throws an uppercut in tight, and he's really good at it. He's really good at like turning you a little and then throwing an uppercut. In these exchanges, he collar ties and uppercuts. He caught him a few times, and you just get one of those on the fucking nose, on the old schnozzle. Mm-hmm. This thing's so brittle.
Yeah.
It's such a, if you feel your nose, just feel it. Have you ever seen Merab's nose?
As more experts reviewed the footage, one detail kept standing out. It wasn't a single devastating punch that changed the fight. It was the repeated damage that slowly broke Ilia down. And according to Joe Rogan, one specific technique from Justin Gaethje may have caused far more destruction than most viewers noticed in real time. But here's the twist. Someone had already warned that this could happen.
No veo posibilidades para Topuria. Arman pelea demasiado a distancia contra los strikers. Mantiene muy bien la distancia. Trabaja de una manera mucho mejor con las piernas. Creo que en este momento el mejor peleador en la división de peso ligero es Topuria.
¿Estás hablando de Tsarukian?
Sí, cometí un error, sí, Tsarukian.
Long before the first punch was thrown, Khabib Nurmagomedov made a prediction that many fans ignored. At the time, it sounded impossible. But after everything that unfolded, those words suddenly carried a very different meaning. The question is, did Khabib see something that the rest of the MMA world completely missed?
And Topuria was landing those body shots. It was right against our side of the fence, and I'm literally like, oh my, holy fucking shit, man. And I've seen a lot of people get ripped to the body before, but there's something about his close range strength in near that clinch, that close-up fucking range of Ilia that is scary.
He's so good, dude. He's so good, and he's so precise. He just tried to, like, Chael, I always repeat this because Chael Sonnen said it was perfect. If you try to win by knockout and fail, you won't win a decision.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just run out of gas because, like, you're not supposed to fight like that if you think that the fight's going to go 5 rounds. Like, Ilia had him hurt, and he's like, I can take him out. But Justin's so durable, man. He's so durable. And
before this defeat, Ilia Topuria was considered one of the most feared finishers in the UFC. His explosive power and terrifying accuracy made opponents panic the moment he closed the distance. Even Joe Rogan has called that close-range strength genuinely scary. But here's the twist. Sometimes the same killer instinct that wins fights can also drain a fighter faster than expected. Instead of slowing down, Ilia kept hunting the finish, and that aggressive approach may have opened the door for Justin Gaethje to completely change the fight.
one of the things I think was a giant factor in the fight is that you have been in wars. You've been in a bunch of wars.
Yeah.
And Ilia really had only had some rough moments against Jai Herbert. Yusuf Zalal gave him some problems, but it was nothing serious. The wars that you've been in, these just down and dirty brawls that you've been in, you're comfortable with the back and forth. You're comfortable with enduring. You know that you're not going to break. If your body holds up, you're going to keep fighting and you can endure. I don't think he'd ever experienced that before. So when you didn't break in the second round, and I think he made a mistake, and I think you're correct about that. You said he made a mistake by going to the ground.
Absolutely.
And then he hurt you to the body.
I told Trevor yesterday, I think, him hurting to my body was one of the main reasons I won.
Power wasn't the only difference that night. Experience was. Justin Gaethje had already survived years of brutal wars, while Ilia Topuria had rarely been pushed into deep, exhausting battles. That difference became more important with every passing round. According to Joe Rogan, one key decision from Ilia completely shifted the momentum, giving Justin the opportunity he had been waiting for. But even after the final bell, the biggest argument was only getting started.
It's not clear what they're going to do with Gaethje, but one thing that nobody is discussing is rematch Ilia. And I don't know that's the direction anyone's going to go until Ilia finally speaks up. And if that is what Ilia demands when they get to the war room, that's going to be a meaningful conversation. And if you go back and rewatch that fight, I'm telling you, it's not the way you remember it. It's not. And O'Malley makes a very good point. Ilia did enough to stop him. Ilia's getting labeled a quitter, but if Justin would have gone down to body shots, it's not quitting, by the way, his body is paralyzed, but it would be viewed to the outsiders. That match could have gone so many different ways, and perhaps did. And when you take that into consideration, the idea of a rematch becomes a little bit more of a necessity of a rematch.
Just when it seemed the story was over, Chael Sonnen pointed out something almost everyone had ignored. What if fans have remembered this fight completely the wrong way? According to him, Ilia Topuria wasn't as far from victory as people think, and 1 or 2 moments could have changed the entire result. That's why he believes the quitter label is unfair, and why a rematch deserves serious consideration. But here's the biggest question. If Ilia himself demands another shot at Justin Gaethje, will the UFC be able to say no? That decision could completely reshape the lightweight division.
Ilia's never had to come back from adversity. Ilia's only ever been the hammer. He's never been the nail. Know what I mean? That's why after that fight with Justin that I had, I knew I could come back stronger and better because I've done it before. I don't think Ilia Topuria ever comes back the same. His whole mindset, his whole like ego, know what I mean? Like his is like, I'm undefeated, no one can beat me. Having celebrations the night before the fight. I just don't think he'll ever be the same. He's never had to come back from nothing like that. I've had to face adversity before. So I'd happily be his first fight back.
A fighter's first defeat can define the rest of their career. Some champions return stronger than ever, while others are never quite the same again. Paddy Pimblett believes Ilia Topuria belongs in that second group. After watching the Gaethje fight, Paddy claimed Ilia's confidence has been shattered and that he'll never return as the same unstoppable champion fans once feared. It's one of the harshest opinions anyone has shared since the loss. But if the UFC finally books Topuria vs. Paddy, Ilia won't just be fighting another contender. He'll be fighting to silence every single doubt surrounding his future.
Do what I did in the sport.
So what do you think it will take Ilia to get back to fighting again after such a loss?
Ilia's he's gonna be in a good position. He has faith. He has a strong team, and that's a lot of what it takes. He has a work ethic. I think he's honest with himself. Ilia and I, we share the same agent, and we were talking about him earlier today. And what I heard was that he's humble, that he is honest. He realized that he just didn't perform well, and I think that's the #1 step of getting back into the ring in a healthy way. It's the guys that make excuses. That's when it's hard to come back and win that rematch. Guys who just say, you know what, I could have did better, I could have done more. Honesty with yourself is the key to MMA. Knowing exactly who you are, what you've done, what you haven't done. You can't lie once you get in that cage. What's real will come to the light.
While many people are questioning whether Ilia Topuria can ever become champion again, Jon Jones sees the situation very differently. He believes this defeat doesn't define Ilia's future. The way he responds does. According to Jones, fighters who make excuses rarely recover, but those who honestly accept their mistakes often come back stronger than ever. That mindset could decide whether this loss becomes the end of Ilia's reign or the beginning of his greatest comeback.
And what you said going into this fight, Justin, that was so unique, was I've already lost. I've already put myself in the worst scenario. Fear is a great thing, and understanding that the worst case scenario, when you put yourself in that scenario, and what that does is that causes you not to hesitate, and you have such a unique mindset to that. Where did that come from? Where did your mindset come from?
Definitely all came from wrestling. I wrestled so many matches, and where I was mentally was a big factor and a big variable when it came to my ability to compete. So just understanding that I, had control, and really just keeping it so simple, keeping it as simple as possible, not confusing things, not overinflating things, and just making it easy.
But beating a fighter like Ilia Topuria takes more than power. It takes an unbreakable mindset. Justin Gaethje revealed the mental approach that carried him through the toughest moments of the fight, a mentality built long before he ever entered the UFC. And once you understand how he thinks under pressure, his victory starts making a lot more sense.
I did the breakdown on the live. I said if Justin got into the later rounds, we'll see if Topuria has that dog in him, right? Like, we've seen him go 5 rounds when he's the hammer, when he's dominating Josh Emmett. We've seen him get tired against Zalal. And Justin, he obviously has some power, right? He has something different in his hands. His bones are a lot thicker. Like, every fighter that's fought him said that he's probably the hardest hitter they've ever faced. And yesterday, from the beginning, he was landing those shots. It's like the first jab, I think, cut Topuria open. And Topuria stayed very patient the first round. I felt like he was just moving forward, not respecting Justin at all. And he was taking those shots, and when you're walking forward, those shots hurt a lot more. The second round, beautiful body shot, dropped Justin. He was very close to getting the finish, almost. He was trying to set up that triangle from the top. I think he was trying a little bit too much, trying to get too pretty. If he would have just did ground and pound, maybe he could have got a finish, but Justin toughed it out. Got to the third round, fourth round, that boy got that dog in him. And I know everybody wants to kick Topuria while he's down, but I think it's, obviously, the guy talks a lot, does very dumb stuff, very cocky, but I think it's one of those things where it's not kicking him while he's down, it's raising Justin, right? I think the performance that Justin put on, especially when everybody counted him out after the Paddy Pimblett fight, he just showed, man. That boy has the most violent fighter in UFC history already stamped, the most exciting fighter in UFC history already stamped. Now he's undisputed champion.
Bilal Muhammad believes the biggest question was never about Ilia's power. It was about what would happen if the fight reached the championship rounds. Early on, Topuria looked unstoppable and came close to finishing Justin. But as the fight dragged on, experience began replacing explosiveness. Justin survived every dangerous moment, and that changed everything. Suddenly, the hunter became the one fighting to survive, proving why battle-tested veterans are so difficult to break.
Never be the same fighter. He's undefeated. He got beaten badly. He pushed Justin Gaethje. He let his emotions get in the way a little bit. However, when you lose a fight like that, you know, you've been beaten. Like Prince Nazim Hamed. I mean, he was destroying everyone and he lost one fight. He was never the same again, right?
Yeah.
Now you know you can be beaten. There's that doubt in that. Who knows? Maybe he comes back and he's a better version of himself. Yeah. But we don't know until that happens.
One brutal defeat can leave scars that fans never see. Michael Bisping warns that losing in such devastating fashion can permanently change a fighter's confidence. History has seen undefeated stars fall once and never look the same again. The question now isn't whether Ilia Topuria can recover physically. It's whether he can silence the doubt that follows every first loss.
Now, when we go back to our biodigital anatomy tool, remember there are multiple injuries that could have occurred here, and really when we're talking about Topuria's absence, depends on what those are. This could be as simple as a substantial amount of soft tissue swelling that built up around the skin in the soft tissue outside of the eye and simply just closed off light from passing through. Everything might be completely fine. Hopefully everything is completely fine in terms of the orbital socket. There was a little part at the end of the fight where it almost looked like a bone was maybe kind of protruding a little bit on that right side, and so there certainly could be an orbital fracture. Those typically don't require surgery, but they can because of swelling, because of the fracture. They can kind of entrap these muscles that are controlling the eye, specifically the ones that are going to put the eyes upward, and so it's very important when we're checking the eyes to follow upwards to see if there's any trapping of that inferior rectus muscle. And so orbital socket fracture, definitely a concern. Hopefully nothing more serious like an orbital fracture, an orbital injury itself to like the actual meat of the eyeball. Hopefully nothing like a retinal detachment in the back of the eye. And you also hope, of course, that nothing happened in that fourth round that made any of this worse. That could.
The shocking images from Fight Night raised a terrifying question. How serious were Ilia Topuria's injuries? Medical experts explained that the swelling alone could temporarily block vision, but the bigger concern was something far more dangerous. An orbital fracture, trapped eye muscles, or even damage to the eye itself were all possible risks. Thankfully, not every worst-case scenario came true. But hearing what doctors were worried about makes the punishment Ilia absorbed inside the octagon seem even more unbelievable. So where does Ilia Topuria go from here? That's the question nobody can answer with certainty. One loss doesn't erase everything he achieved, but it does force him to prove that greatness isn't measured by an undefeated record. It's measured by how you respond when everything falls apart. The road back won't be easy. A rematch with Justin Gaethje, a long-awaited grudge match with Paddy Pimblett, or an entirely new contender could be waiting for him. Whatever the UFC decides, one thing is guaranteed. Every move Topuria makes will be watched more closely than ever before. The biggest mystery isn't whether his body will heal. It's whether his confidence, timing, and fearless style will return when that octagon door closes again. Champions are remembered for winning titles, but legends are remembered for overcoming impossible setbacks. Now Ilia has the chance to write the most important chapter of his career. Do you believe Topuria will come back stronger and reclaim the lightweight throne? Or has Justin Gaethje permanently changed his future? Let us know your prediction in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications because the next chapter of this story could arrive sooner than anyone expects.